In this video, I'm going to show how to use Glide to, in an Android app, show an image that's from the internet. I previously had a video that showed how to use Picasso, and which does something similar. You can find out on the web comparisons of Picasso and Glide and the new kid on the block, Coil. I'm just going to show their usage, how to use them, and Glide and Picasso are going to be quite comparable on that score. The code for this app can be found at the URL seen below. Okay, so I'm going to construct from this sort of Hello World project the Glide project from the files that I provided at that URL. So I dug down into the app and have the main folder here. And that has the AndroidManifest that I'm going to need to edit somewhat. It's going to have the layout, the resource layout that I'm going to need, and then the Kotlin code that's in this Java folder. What's not here is, then I also need to edit, is the build.gradle, but I have notes in the Kotlin of what needs to change there. So let's start with the Android XML, since we're right there at that level. I'm opening it up. And I'm going to have two permissions and bring it here to, in the manifest, in the Android Studio, the Android manifest at the top, I'm adding the permissions here. And what Glide is going to do is, in addition, we had this permission previously that we saw and added in Picasso. And so again, we're getting an image off the internet. So we need permission for the app to access the internet. But Glide also likes to know the sort of status of your network to sort of deal with any issues that there may be in your network and getting onto the internet and getting things off of the internet. So it also sort of asked for this additional permission, so I gave it. What I want to do next is change the layout. So res layout activity underscore main XML, and I'm just have a text view and an image view. No, sorry. Undo, copy. Okay. And bringing that over here to res layout XML, look at it in code and paste that in. And so I'm just going to have a text view then says for non-leger and then an image view. So I'm only going to do one. And then I'm going to look at the Kotlin code. So close that and then find in main Java com example Glide. Here's the Kotlin. I'm going to open that. I named it something different, so I have to make sure when I'm copying not to copy the package. So highlight everything but the package, copy, go over to Android Studio, find the main activity, and paste everything but the package. Okay, and then I'm going to look at my comment here, sort of my cheat sheet. Here are the permissions in the Android manifest that we've already done, but here is the implementation that gets added to the build.gradle, the module. There are two build.gradles, and we want the module one. So I'm copying this, going to the module, the build.gradle module, finding the implementation section and pasting that in there. So a slightly fancier version of the implementation than we saw in our Picasso example. Let's save that. Let's go back to main activity. And oh, we have not we edited the module and we must always sync again. So hit sync now. And when that is done, then we hope that this red will go away. The red goes away. And so then now we're ready to look at the actual code. So there's not much to the code here, just keeping it pretty simple. There is the connecting the interface ImageView to a code. We're establishing a URL. I used Wikimedia, and I found a image of by Fernand Léger of a beer mug, and then I'm using Glide. And it's got a fairly similar structure to Picasso. It's Glide with the activity, load the URL that we have above, and then we're loading it into the image view. So let me stop that sort of old hello world that we had going and run, and we should see an image. Now we saw in Picasso things like what to do, like a placeholder image and an error image, and that is also supported in Glide, but I just chose not to do it here to keep this fairly simple, basically because the image I had of the Léger was so big, it sort of filled the app as it was, so I didn't really have room. So it's nothing about what Glide can do or can't do, just that my image was so tall, it sort of filled the space. So that's what I wanted to show you, the sort of very similar use, edit the manifest to allow permission to the internet, edit the Gradle to announce that we're using this sort of library, and then resync, and then a fairly similar looking code to Picasso. So, to see the differences, you'll need to do a study on their speed or other features, but in terms of just the basic use of getting an image into a file, they were very similar. Let me stop recording.